Big changes are coming to crypto in the UK, and they're not just minor tweaks. These new regulations could completely transform how you buy, sell and trade. Now, some are saying that it's a step towards legitimacy, while others think it's government overreach. Either way, one thing's for sure, you need to know what's coming before it's too late. So today we're going to be taking an in-depth look at a major regulatory shake-up that's currently transforming the UK crypto landscape. Now, whether you're a seasoned investor, a crypto entrepreneur, or just curious about how these changes might impact the market, you're in the right place, so let's dive right in. Now, before we get into today's updates, let's just take a quick step back, because the UK has long been known for its robust financial oversight, and as crypto began gaining momentum over the last decade, the regulators weren't far behind, and initially the approach was quite hands-off. And crypto was seen as an emerging asset class with enormous potential. But as the industry grew, and so did its complexities, the FCA, or Financial Conduct Authority, and the government recognised the need for tighter controls. And in recent months, we've seen the regulatory environment shift dramatically. The FCA has been pushing for more stringent anti-money laundering protocols, improved know your customer measures, and even an overhaul of the exchange licensing framework. Now, these moves aim to protect investors, reduce fraudulent activities, and also ensure that the UK market remains competitive and trustworthy. So let's break down the major components of these new regulations. So first and foremost, there's going to be enhanced AML and KYC protocols. Crypto exchanges and wallet providers are now going to be required to implement tougher verification processes. This is going to mean more rigorous identity checks, continuous monitoring, and tighter controls to ensure that every transaction is above board. And this move is designed to stem the tide of money laundering and other illegal activities that have, in some cases, tarnished the reputation of the crypto space. Another big one is that they're overhauling the exchange licensing framework. So one of the most significant updates in this framework is that they're restructuring the licensing system for crypto exchanges. Now, companies are going to need to meet stricter criteria, which may include higher capital requirements, a more comprehensive risk assessment, things like that. And whilst these changes could increase operational costs in the short term, they're actually intended to build a more secure and stable market, thereby, the government would say, boosting investor confidence. And another major point is stronger investor protections. Another key element is this renewed focus on investor safeguards. The FCA plans to introduce more detailed risk disclosures and things like mandatory compliance checks. And this is aimed at reducing the incidence of fraud and ensuring that retail investors have a clearer understanding of the risks associated with crypto investments. And these are not just small little things, as minor tweaks. They represent a significant shift in how the UK views and regulates the crypto market. So now let's explore what these changes mean for both businesses and investors. So for crypto businesses operating in the UK, these new regulations mean that it's time to buckle down and upgrade your compliance systems. We're going to have increased compliance costs, meaning that businesses are going to need to invest in better security infrastructure to remain compliant. They're going to have compliance specialists, and they're going to possibly have to overhaul their entire internal processes in some cases. And although this may seem like an added burden, it's all about building a market that's secure and sustainable in the long run. And the government are also arguing that with stricter regulations in place, there's also a good chance that the overall reputation of the UK crypto market will improve, and this could attract more institutional investors who may before have been hesitant to enter the space because they saw it as risky or under-regulated. And another interesting thing that I think many people don't think about is that some companies might find that they have this sort of competitive advantage now, because companies that can adapt quickly to this and demonstrate strong compliance might actually find themselves having a competitive advantage over other companies that they wouldn't have, ordinarily. And so in an industry where trust is paramount, being seen as a secure, regulated player can actually be a big differentiator. Now, for investors like us, this new regulatory framework is kind of a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, we've got increased regulations, which is going to mean a safer trading environment, and stricter AML and KYC standards should help reduce scams and fraudulent activities, leading to a greater transparency in the market. But on the other hand, you might see short-term market adjustments as companies try to adapt to these new rules. But I think there will be three main benefits to us that come out of all this, these regulations. One is that we're going to have safer investment environments. So with clearer risk disclosures and better investor protections, you can make a more informed decision, and the market is likely to become more transparent. It's going to reduce any uncertainty that you may have faced before. The second thing I would say is that we're going to have some, long-term stability. While this transition might be rocky, these regulations are designed in the end to create a stable market. And so over time, this could lead to increased investor confidence and a more sort of mature, reliable crypto ecosystem in the UK. And lastly, there will be more opportunities for growth, I would think. A well-regulated market tends to attract serious players and institutional investors. And so this is, an influx of capital, new capital, and expertise as well, which can drive long-term growth and innovation. And so let's put this into a global context. How do these new measures stack up against regulations in other major markets like the EU and the US? Well, in the EU, regulators have also been tightening the reins on crypto, with these comprehensive frameworks, like the markets in crypto assets, or MiCA regulations, you may have heard it being called, that are on the horizon. And in the US, we've seen a patchwork of state and federal laws with a strong focus on investor protection and fraud prevention. And the UK's approach is kind of aiming for this sort of balanced model, where they're hoping that this framework is going to be robust enough to protect investors, but also flexible enough to foster innovation and attract capital and, intellectual folk from abroad and bring them to the UK. And so by striking this balance, the UK is hoping to be a hub for both established financial institutions and cutting-edge crypto startups. So it's an ambitious goal, but one that could pay off in terms of market stability and growth. And so as we wrap up, let's look to the future. The road ahead is filled with both challenges and opportunities. But I think the UK's proactive stance on crypto regulation could well position it as a global leader in the space, one that balances innovation with security, because as technology evolves and markets mature, these early regulatory changes may serve as a blueprint for how many other countries may approach crypto. So there'll be undoubtedly bumps along the way, but the goal is clear, which is to create an environment where investors can trade with confidence and where businesses can innovate without compromising on security. And so that's a future worth working towards. And so if you found today's deep dive valuable, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel for more updates, and tap the notification bell so that you never miss out on the latest news. I'm eager to hear your thoughts. What do you think will be the most significant impact of these new regulations? Drop your comments below and join the conversation. Thanks for watching, everybody, and remember, staying informed is the first step to staying ahead. I'll see you in the next video.